always with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. Believe in the fireflies.
Oh, it's the Last of Us theme.
It's the Last of Us theme.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's Talk This Way, y'all.
It's going all right.
It's Talk This Way podcast, but we're doing a special edition. We're doing a video game review. And
First
also,
ever.
Yes.
So excited.
Hopefully one of many. So
Yeah,
we'll just
hold
have to
this
see
thing.
how it goes. If you guys like it, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, and also be sure to rate us on Apple Podcast.
Of course, of course.
I do want to mention that this is a spoiler cast of the first Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2.
Lots
So,
of spoilers, boys.
Yes, lots of spoilers if you haven't played those games or read or anything of the other spoilers from the second game. But if you haven't, be sure to go do that and then come back. But if you have, I'm really excited to talk about it. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
One other more thing to say before we start. This is going to be an explicit episode.
Oh yes, well
so
it'll have it in the description and everything. Hopefully by now you already know that it's explicit. But in case you don't, yes, this will be a little
just with the
adulty.
themes that we are talking about and just the type
I mean,
of stuff.
with the type of game it is, it's hard not to talk about that stuff, just because that's what the game is. So
That being said, frick, crap, and booty hole.
you bad
There
boy.
we
All right. In order to gain your trust with us, specifically me and Ethan, but a little bit of Brandon too, but specifically me and Ethan, to gain your trust to us for being diehard fans of the Last of Us franchise, we have to talk about the first game. And so, and we have to share our knowledge, our nerdy ass knowledge of the first game. And to do that, we will be playing a kind of game, as well as the trivia, which will be led by Brandon.
Hey.
But we'll be reenacting the scenes, basically, where you'll hear me and Ethan's voice reenacting the scenes. But hopefully in the video, I'll get it to work out to where you'll see the actual scene of the video game, and our voices will sync up perfectly. We'll see how it goes. First, let's refresh anyone who hasn't seen the game or played the first game story or anything like that.
Okay. 20 years after a fungal infection obliterated most of the U.S. population and turned the victims into infected monstrosities, a man named Joel is tasked with escorting a 14-year-old girl named Ellie to a resurgent group known as the Fireflies to help reverse engineer a cure. However, this isn't easy for either of them, since Joel was left almost permanently bitter after the death of his daughter, Sarah. The two travel across the country in search of the Fireflies, all while battling infected, as well as a faction known as the Hunters, a group of people whose sole purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy, in order to get Ellie back safe.
Dang. That's a pretty good sum up. There's a lot of spoilers in there, but,
Hey,
it's
it
still a good
works.
sum up. That's that's what the story is,
It is what the story
and
is,
there's still a lot more things that happen in the game that are not mentioned in that are big. So it's not a complete spoiler, but
And you
it's definitely-
No, that's a spoiler too.
Well, this is a spoiler cast, so
And you don't get the cure at the end.
You don't.
Boom.
Aw,
Joel
shit.
kills everybody. All right.
Okay. Yeah, dude, this game's story is so good. And again, we'll talk more about it in a second, but just for those of you that have never played it, please go back. I know it's from 2012, 2013. When did it come out?
2013, yeah.
2013, PS3.
But they got it on PS4 remastered. 60 FPS.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Nice.
good.
It's so you have to.
Yes.
It deserves your attention. To at
if
least
you don't
play it
like
once.
if you don't like video games, that's actually kind of good because this is more of a movie than a video game.
Low-key.
You're probably playing for maybe 60% of it.
Like 40% of it is cutscenes.
Yeah,
It's
but they're good.
The story is good.
Good cutscene. You are going to be enveloped the whole time. So,
I don't care if there's a bunch of cutscenes in the game as long as it's a good story.
well,
I'm like,
this is
heck
another
yeah.
reason why I wanted it on this podcast. Even though this is a movie podcast, it's as close as you're going to get to a movie when it comes to video games, other than Telltale. But this game franchise is just so it's movie-esque. Literally, you could sit there and watch just the cutscenes and understand the whole story. It would be amazing. So anyway,
I mean, I played it. They recommended it to me a while back. I tried it, and then my hard drive blew up. So
Then he lost all of his save
I got
data.
more than halfway through. I was like, it's pretty good. I was just getting into it, I had a hard time getting into it. By the way, it's if you're like used to like first person shooters and fast paced stuff, you're not gonna like it at
Very
first.
slow-paced.
At first, but anyway, that's why I haven't completed it yet. So
Low-key, like,
I recommend it though
yes.
highly.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's go into it. So we're gonna do the reenacting scenes now. So
Oh, I'm excited.
here's how it's gonna work. I will be essentially, depending on the scene, we're only doing 2. But depending on the scene, I will be the off character, and Ethan will always be Joel and Ellie. So
Okay.
I'll be either Tess or Bill in these 2 different scenes that we chose. So
And I'm gonna sit here awkwardly while I watch them.
Hey,
yes,
we're
It'll
going to
be great.
reenact it to the best of our ability,
Yes.
low key.
It'll be great. No. No.
What happens now? What are you doing, Tess?
Oh God, maybe they had a map or something to tell us where they were going.
How far are we going to take this?
As far as it needs to go. Where was this lab of theirs?
She never said. She only mentioned it was someplace out west. What are we doing here? This is not us.
What do you know about us? About me?
I know that you are smarter than this.
Really? Guess what? We're shitty people, Joel. It's been that way for a long time.
No, we are survivors.
This is our chance.
It is over, Tess. Now, we tried. Let's just go home.
I'm not going anywhere. This is my last stop.
What?
Our luck had to run out sooner or later.
Now, what are you going on about?
No, don't touch me.
Holy shit. She's infected.
Joel,
Let me see it.
I didn't mean for this.
Show it to me. Oh, Christ.
Oops, right? Give me your arm. This was 3 weeks. I was bitten an hour ago, and it's already worse. This is fucking real, Joel. You've got to get this girl to Tommy's. He used to run with this crew.
No. That was your crusade. I am not doing that.
Yes, you are. Look, there's enough here that you have some sort of obligation to me. So you get her to Tommy's.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they're here.
Damn it.
I can buy you some time, but you have to run.
What? You just want us to just leave you here?
Yes.
There is no way that...
I will not turn into one of those things. Come on. Make this easy for me.
I can fight.
No. Just go. Just fucking go.
Ellie. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this. Get a move on.
And scene.
Scene. Bruh, that's low-key.
Fire.
That's one of my favorite
Mhm.
that I like to like doing over again. Like
Yes. That scene
Mm.
is so good. I love that interaction.
that's
that
probably
cutscene.
the first part of the first cutscene that I was like, dang, this is intense. Like,
Oh yeah, this is at the
good.
beginning of the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
this
is like
is
the first like 3 hours in the game.
yeah,
Like,
Oh, yeah.
you're just like, oh dang, this is gonna be intense.
way better than Last of Us Part 2. But we'll get into it. All right. So the second one is I Need a Car is the name
Whoa,
of it.
I love this one. It's
All
my
right.
favorite one.
I'll be Bill and Ethan will be Joel and Ellie again.
Of course. Man, that was close. Thanks for the heroics and all. Ellie. Hey, what are you doing? Joel? Bill? Let me go.
Turn around and get on your knees.
Calm down a second.
Turn around and get on your knees.
All right.
Don't test me.
Just take it easy.
Got any bites?
No.
Anything sprouting?
No, goddammit, I'm clean.
Well, if I see so much as a twitch. Ow!
Stop.
Son of a bitch.
You done?
Am I done? You come into my house. You set off all my traps. You damn near break my shooting arm. Who the fuck is this punk and why the what is she doing here?
I am none of your goddamn business. And we're here because you owe Joel some favors, and you can start by taking these off.
I owe Joel some favors. Is this some kind of joke?
I'll cut to the chase. I need a car.
Well, it is a joke. Joel needs a car. Well, if I had one that works, which I sure as hell don't, what makes you think I just give it to you? Yeah, sure, Joel. Come on, take my car. Take all my food, too, while you're at it.
By the looks of it, you could lose some of that food.
Listen to me, you little shit.
No, fuck you. You handcuffed me. I need you to shut up. All right?
Whatever favors you think I owe you, it ain't worth that much.
Actually, Bill, they are.
Well, it don't matter, because I don't have a car that works.
But there is one in this town,
There are parts. There are
meaning you
parts.
could fix one up.
All right. If I'm going to do this, there's some gear I'm going to need.
All right.
It's on the other side of town. Now you help me go gather it, and maybe I could put something together that runs. But after this, I owe you nothing.
That's fine. A couple days from now, we'll probably be dead anyway.
Good. Now follow me. Whole goddamn town's booby-trapped. Best stay right on my ass.
Can't miss it. Knock it off.
And scene.
Those are two. Anything with Bill, I loved.
I know.
Bill was so good in this game.
Oh, I love it. I
Criminally
love it.
underrated because
I
he was
know.
used for like 30 minutes of the game. But
Hey, at least he didn't die.
at least he didn't die like
like
everybody
in the
else.
second game.
Spoilers, but
Stupid.
it's a spoiler cast, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that
dude.
was so much fun. I
That
love.
second scene was my favorite.
I love
the
it.
two that we did.
I wish we could do more, but it's just not enough time. So,
Mhm.
you know, as we continue and do other games or whatever, we might do some more quotes if we know it as well. But you know, for now, that's
For
what
this,
we
It
got.
was easy because
Yep.
we played this game.
Oh, literally the other night, me and Ethan went through this whole script, like the whole script of the game, and just quoted the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily from memory, but mostly from memory.
I mean, just a quick disclaimer: this is not going to be a regular thing for
Right,
every
right,
episode.
Yes, yes.
We're not that educated.
No, no.
They are, but I'm not.
I don't even think I know a movie that well.
No. No, I
other
certainly
than
don't.
John Wick, but you know,
Mhm.
we'll just have to see. All right. So Ethan, I've got some questions for you, and I'm sorry, Brandon, if you feel left out, but
No, I'm
I've
good.
got questions for Ethan. Then you can ask me and Ethan questions here in a minute.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Ethan, my question to you is, and I'll answer these as well. What is your favorite part from The Last of Us? Which is the first one.
God, man. There's so many scenes that are just incredible. Off the top of my head, the first one that comes to my mind is the one where Joel is torturing the two people in the
Oh
in
yeah,
the winter area.
Yeah.
Where like they do the whole verification thing where it's like, now, you know, you better mark it on the map and it better be the same exact spot your buddy points to. And you know, he does it, yada yada
Mm-hmm.
yada. But it's just so, because you don't see Joel ever going to that lengths for Ellie before until that scene, and then you're
Yeah.
like, you realize you're like, okay,
I mean,
but Joel is pretty much completely like done
Yeah.
at this point. That like, yeah, this is pretty much Joel's daughter now.
yeah,
Like,
oh yeah,
and it's not only is he just he's a badass in that scene. Like that's
Right.
my favorite part about it is because you're like, Joel's back, bro. Like
Yep.
he freaking got impaled, but he's back and he's just kicking butt. It's freaking awesome. So like,
yep. Oh
that's
man,
low-key probably my favorite scene.
that
I'm not
scene,
gonna
that
lie.
scene is so good.
I love
That
it.
scene is so good. You're right. I would say for me, oh man, it's a hard question because again there are so many good scenes, but I would say my favorite scene is when Joel and what's Sam's older brother's name? You remember? Henry. When Joel and Henry are talking about riding motorcycles cross country and like just reliving the glory days, and Joel finally feels a sense of like, okay, we're safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, until the next day when Sam is infected and Henry shoots him and then shoots himself.
That
So,
is, dude.
Scene's very,
That
very
scene was
emotional.
crazy, dude. When I first saw that first
Which
time I
is-
played it through, I was like,
It's so sad because if you think about it, like Joel goes from that place of like I'm safe, and then that happens, and he is shut down. He is locked. Like he doesn't feel that way again for a long time.
mm-hmm.
You know, and he doesn't trust anybody after that. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, he didn't before, but now like he started to in that scenario, and then it just dropped. You know, so it sucks.
Love it.
All right. So now that we know that, and I probably know the answer to this question, but who is your favorite character, and why?
I mean,
I know who you're gonna say, but you gotta say it.
it's Joel. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be Joel, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and the reason why, number one, I mean, he's the main character, so most of the time people get the most. You get the most information and screen time with the main character, but not only that,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's someone that you can, at least in my mind, I can relate to. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, someone who is like just lost so much, and like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to reflect that to my own life, but it's like for
Right.
me, like sometimes I shut down.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to talk to people when stuff like that happens. And Joel is very much that way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like he wants to express his emotions, but he can't. Like in his mind, he can't do it. You know, because there's scenes, different nuances, like in the story where you see him wanting to say more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with the scene where he's, you know, they finally get done. Joel gives the hunting rifle to Ellie to shoot those people in the Pittsburgh, and then he's like, okay, you know, and Ellie was like, so how'd I do?
Yeah.
And he's like, how about something a little bit more your side? You
Yeah.
know he wanted to say you did good.
Yeah.
You did good. But he was like, it's more of like it's an ego thing too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
a pride thing. It's like I can't admit
Right.
kind of thing, you know?
He's too badass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like I love that about him, you know?
Brandon's like, I don't know about that.
I mean, badass and egotistical
Yes.
are two different
Yeah,
things.
no, I know.
True. Now true. Yes.
I don't think Joel's egotistical. I just think he does he's lost so much that he's
They're
gone
just emotionally shut down.
right.
Yes, yes.
He's just gone to this place of like, you know what? I'm not even going to share my emotions with myself. You know, like not only with other people, but not even with myself. So when it
feels
comes
like-
time to do that,
Like that'll open up another bridge to get attached. so-
exactly. Which
Shuts
you
that
know,
off.
if you've ever been broken up with, you can identify with that a lot.
Yes. Low
Brandon.
You know who you are.
Oh,
Oh dang.
she don't listen.
She might though. But yeah, Joel's
That's
my
cool.
favorite.
Yeah, for me, it's Bill. It's got to be Bill.
You like Bill?
Yes.
Dang.
Bill's my favorite. In the first game, when we're talking about the first game right now, so yeah, in the first game it's Bill. Just even though he was short and sweet, he just never, not once, did he like rub me the wrong way in a way that was like, God, I don't like that guy. A lot of people did that in the second game, but in the first game, Bill not once, and every time he talked, I laughed. You know, he's like, oh my God. Ellie was like, well, why don't you fix one of these? And he's like, oh my God, you're a fucking genius. Why didn't I think of that? And Joel's like, no, shut up. You know?
Yeah, it's
and
like-
Bill's like, because they're all rot. Like he explains why he has, and he's just so sarcastic, and it's like, it's so
Basically
funny.
me in a video game.
Right.
That'd be me in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'd still be sarcastic.
Yeah.
I'd still
He's
be
just
cracking
so
jokes.
petty, so petty.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, but yeah. Anyway, Brandon, in your, little playthrough that you have done, who is your favorite character so far? Because I know you haven't beaten it yet, but
I only got like maybe halfway through.
yeah,
Mhm.
I haven't even found the giraffe yet.
yeah.
Dang.
Well, that's towards the end. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's that first character's name? The lady that was with Joel.
Tess?
Yeah, Tess.
Tess was
That's
a
a good one.
boss,
I mean,
bro. I love Tess.
yeah, she was-
didn't hesitate to sacrifice herself, like when she knew that
Mhm.
she needed to do it. you know?
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a cure. This is more.
Yeah.
This is bigger than me now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that.
I just love everybody.
Yeah,
It's very rare that like they introduce a character which is like a good character, like that's integral to the story that I just didn't like.
yeah,
Now I'm gonna hate the villains because that's what they're supposed to be. That's what
Right.
they're made for. Is that someone that you don't like? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah,
But like everyone who was part of it, like helping Joel and Ellie in some certain way, I was like, man,
yeah.
Maria, Tommy,
Mhm.
Henry, Sam, like all of them. I'm just like,
Yeah.
these guys are awesome.
Does this look weird?
No, you're good.
No.
Yeah, I love what Naughty Dog does with Tess too, because it's like the way that her relationship is with Joel, like it explains like everything you need to know about their relationship. Like it doesn't sit there and say that they were like in a romantic relationship or anything, but like as they kept going back and forth, they're kind of like they care about each other. And then
Mhm.
at the very end, you're like, oh yeah, they really care. Like this is the only person that Joel's ever opened up to since his daughter died. You know,
Mhm.
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, and who knows what happened to his wife? Who, Sarah's mother. Like, who knows what happened to her?
Yeah.
But
That's crazy.
yeah.
I have an odd feeling he was probably a single dad.
Well, he
Well,
was.
He was. But the story never says anything about Sarah's mom, so we have no idea what happened to his
Except
wife.
the only thing that was said, only thing, was Ellie was like, "So were you married?"
Oh yeah.
It's like for a little while.
yeah.
What happened? Okay, and then
Yeah.
too much, and then that's the
That's
only thing they say about.
Yep.
So no name drops, no nothing.
Yep.
So it's very glossed over, but
I mean, it's in the streets. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's in the streets.
God damn.
So this is kind of just a fun gameplay question, but Ethan, in the very first Last of Us, what is your favorite weapon?
Are we talking strictly story?
No. In
Could be in
the
multiplayer,
first
too?
game, yes. What is your favorite weapon in the first game?
Okay. Multiplayer wise, I'm gonna give two answers. One for multiplayer, one for story.
Yeah,
Multiplayer, the bow.
the bow.
I love the bow in the multiplayer. It's so much fun because it's a skill weapon, but it's not bad
Yeah.
in that way. You know, a lot of people are like, yeah, I use the bow, or like I use this weapon that takes more skill because it just takes more skill and I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily better than these other guns. Bow is just as good, bro.
Yeah.
Especially if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Like, I love the bow. So basically, bow and multiplayer. My favorite weapon in the story, though, shotgun.
Yeah.
Soon as I get that in the story mode,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm upgrading the crap out of this
Yeah,
thing. Like,
yeah.
oh, dude, I love that
Yep.
thing.
All
So
right.
yeah, those are mine.
Can you guess what mine is?
Favorite, I would say Shorty.
Nope. Dang, I thought for sure you were going to get it first try.
Wait,
This one, no, it's not. It's purchasable in the multiplayer.
all right, so it is a purchasable in the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me X out all of the.
PewDiePie made a big deal about this weapon.
Well, then you just completely
Yep.
gave it away at that point. El Diablo,
El Diablo!
dude.
El Diablo.
That gun was so much fun, bro.
Brandon, you should watch PewDiePie play this game.
Dude,
it's a
his
great
playthrough is
playthrough.
so funny.
I saw him play through the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, he hated
wasn't
it.
a fan.
He wasn't
No,
a
he
fan.
loved the first one.
He
like,
really
it was
liked
a
the first
great
one.
playthrough.
But
yeah,
it's
El Diablo is my favorite.
El Diablo is
Absolutely.
pretty much, for people who don't know, it's like a one shot.
It's a pistol sniper rifle.
Yes.
I know that's hard to understand, but that's basically what it is. It's a revolver pistol that has a scope and is an insta kill.
Mm-hmm.
So in the multiplayer, it's a double shot unless you hit him in the head, and then it's an insta down.
Dude,
So
I love it.
again, we're nerds. We play the crap out of this multiplayer, and it's like 8 years old,
Hey, it's
7 years old.
It's such a freaking good multiplayer, though. Like,
I know. Even with the
dope.
lag and the glitches, it's still the best.
The weapon sounds like a really expensive, like Call of Duty weapon
Yeah.
that you'd find in the store by
Yes.
itself.
Yes. Yep.
for like $30 in real life money. Like, that's how much
Exactly.
it costs.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, as always, we have our Arizona Sweet Teas with us, and we're gonna keep doing it until Arizona sponsors us. So
It's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen. But
This is a story of us getting sponsored by
I mean,
Arizona.
as we said in the Star Trek Into Darkness episode, you know, we love it, and as the ad says, the price is on the can. So you know, can't deny
99
that.
cents. That's a great buy.
All right, the time has come to talk about Last of Us Part 2. And a little bit of the first Last of Us, but it's up to what Brandon had made. So, Brandon, it is time for your questions,
questions.
and your trivia,
Right.
whichever comes first.
I guess I'll start with the questions first. But
Okay, let's do it.
all right, these are all for both of you, by the way. Was Joel's manner of death justified for you at the end of the game?
That is a really good question.
Damn.
Take your time.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yes, I think it was. Now,
Why?
I'll explain. Now, going through this, I've played through this game twice. I'll preface that by saying that. Like,
The Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2. I played it through twice. Once regular, once on New Game Plus. In the first playthrough, I was so caught up in my emotions with, like, all of that I was so butthurt and biased. And
Yeah.
once Abby's part came on, I was like, I don't want to play this. This is stupid. I don't want to do anything. I don't care about these people. I would miss a lot of stuff. But then I played through it again because I really wanted to play through it again, and I played through it like through a very unbiased lens. You know, if I was just like, if this was the first game in the series, I had never played. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
None of that. I just
Yeah.
played it through that, and I was like, that's how I played it the second time through. And I think it was justified in. Because here's the thing, Joel was going to die in the second game,
Right.
Some way or
Oh,
another.
we called it.
We
like,
called it
years
before even the spoilers came out.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: we got spoiled
Right.
before this game came out. So we kind of knew a lot of what was going on. We didn't know a lot of the smaller parts, but the major plot points had already been leaked to us before we played the game. So it kind of sucked a little bit, but it didn't ruin the experience for us. At least for me, it didn't.
I think it ruined the initial experience.
Yes.
But and when I say ruin, I don't mean like made it unplayable. It just made it more difficult to enjoy what Naughty Dog had created.
Yes.
That was true with me, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This one I didn't write down, but you'll probably have a quick answer. Do you think you would have enjoyed it better without spoilers?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I think I would have.
Yeah. And
Like that.
I think playing as Abby would have come differently, because knowing that we were going to play as Abby throughout the game, it made us dread finishing Ellie's parts.
Yes.
Because we got to the point where we were like, God, we know Ellie's about to stop. I don't want to play as Abby, so I'm going to take this as long as I can.
Yeah.
It kind of made that stuff just not as enjoyable because the whole time we're dreading what's to come, and that's no way to live. Don't fear the future. That's just preaching, but
But yeah, so we had a whole game building up Abby and her father's, the doctor's relationship. We would be like, oh my gosh, this psychopath just murdered her father for no reason. I want that guy dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all, I feel like that's what they were trying to go for, was like,
I mean, Neil Druckmann said that in a press conference after the first game, was that Joel was the bad guy. You played as the bad guy the whole game. I don't necessarily agree with that. I do think that he did a lot of bad things, but I think defining him as a bad guy is very subjective.
yeah. Because to me, it's like the game was about hate.
Right.
That's what they said it was.
Right.
And for a lot of the game,
Which
it
is
was
the same
that.
as saying like Abby's a bad girl, or whatever. Like Abby's the bad villain or whatever. I'm like, I don't think that's true either. I think that's very subjective.
Depending on where you're looking, Joel can be seen as the villain.
Right.
But I would not at all consider him a bad guy.
Right.
A bad guy.
That's what I'm going after. Is that
Everybody
he's-
does
Yeah.
morally wrong stuff in a situation apocalypse like this. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, no one is going to be morally
Tell
right the
me,
entire time.
one character in the Last of Us franchise that is innocent. Name one.
Sarah.
That's before the apocalypse. So
Well,
that
it was
is
during
true.
it. Yes, but that was
So
before.
yes, you're right.
Here's my thing.
I accept that
I
answer.
win.
Judges, thank you.
Yes. But I feel like here's the thing. Here's the preference for that. If you're going to survive long into the apocalypse,
Yeah.
you're going to do stuff that's morally wrong because you can't. You can't survive. You can't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
Someone is going to come up with a knife and try to kill you.
Yeah.
Because it's the apocalypse. People are just going to do that. And
Yep.
you can either be like, I'll die innocent.
Yeah.
Come take me.
Right.
Or you can defend yourself, which even then some people might think, well, that's still kind of justifiable because he came at you with a knife. It gets really muddy. It depends on what everyone has different
Yeah,
morals
but
about.
Muddy
certain
is
things.
not innocent.
True.
And my question was, who is innocent? And Sarah is the correct answer. So you're right, Brandon.
But everybody else
Yeah.
has done crappy stuff.
Right. Right.
Marlene
So-
blew up places.
Yeah.
With the
I mean,
fireflies.
Fireflies were terrorists. That's
Fireflies
just
were
true.
terrorists, dude. They were blowing crap
They were
up.
terrorists. So
But yes.
Ethan, though. So you're saying it was justified?
I think it was justified.
I think I don't want to answer that question because I don't know. I feel like it was, but then I feel like it wasn't. After what you said, I agree with you, but then there's that part of me that but I don't want him to be dead, and I hate the way that he died.
Yeah.
It just felt very, just unearned. Just felt very unearned. Like you didn't have to go through anything. Joel just walked up into your hands, and "Hey, you said that like you know me or something. They do. Boom. It's like, really?
I still think that was a little iffy about that whole thing. I know that they gave their answer that it's like, well, he was living in civilization for like 5 years, and he's. But I'm
I
like,
get that.
There's
I
part.
totally
There is
get
parts
that.
of your survival instinct that will always be there,
Yeah,
no matter
and
what.
I get that, but I don't care. Like that's, I don't know. It just to me seems like lazy storytelling. But who am I to judge? I mean, they've written better stories than I could ever dream up. So
True,
I
but
can't say anything.
everybody has their faults, which
right, and that's also just my opinion. So it doesn't even really
Yeah.
matter. But that's how I feel about it. So, but to answer your question, Brandon, I agree with Ethan. So
Yeah.
we can.
I think it was justified.
Good. All right. I mean, I still don't know my answer to that because I haven't technically played the game. But so all movies, whether you see it or not, have like a moral or a life lesson hidden somewhere.
True.
Uh-oh.
Pretty much all of them.
Yes.
Do you see any in this game?
Was about forgiveness.
Yeah?
Low key. And here I'm a compound on that a little bit. So a lot of the game is death. That's like the main part of this game is like you are going and killing people like that are responsible. And most of the time it's pretty justified. So basically like you're going through the game and then you have this switch up where you're like, you hate this character, Abby. Hate this character.
Yeah.
And that was their goal. And then you had the switch. And then basically you had to play as Abby for the other half of the game. And it's all about perspectives, and you did that. And then it really had a Joel and Ellie-esque storyline with like Abby and Lev, one of the supporting characters.
Yeah.
Because she was a terrible person too. Like Abby. Like everyone kind of knew that like, yeah, revenge consumed like 4 years of her life after that happened, you know what I mean? And pushed everyone away. But then through that, Abby is like getting this relationship and kind of figuring out what she missed. And it's like, this is my opportunity to like do the right thing and not be controlled by like hatred, not be driven by.
Because the whole time since Joel killed her dad, which was the doctor in the first game, that's why she's so jacked, is she's just been fueled by hatred towards Joel. And then after succeeding in killing Joel, which is still where I kind of get fuzzy with it, because I'm like, she got her revenge. Ellie never did, kind of a thing. But for Abby, I never really got the sense that Abby said that, like, revenge was bad. I never got that from her. Like, she never openly was like, it wasn't satisfying. Like, it almost was like, all right, I'm good. I can go do good now. It's kind of her attitude. That's what I felt anyway.
That is true, because they don't ever compound on that.
Right. Which is why I feel like this story, to answer that question, is not about revenge related at all. I agree with you when you were saying it's about love and forgiveness, because that's totally what it is. Because the whole time they're fighting and they're fighting and they're fighting, and not just Ellie and Abby, but like the wolves and the scars. Like they're fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it's like you get to the end of it, and I mean, we don't know if the scars and the wolves made up or anything, or if they killed everybody. Who knows? But we do know that Ellie somewhat made it right with Joel. Like the night before he died, it's so sad. And then with Abby, made it right at the very end, and then let go of Joel, let go of that anger. And, hopefully, if you've seen the end of the game, walking away to go find...
Fireflies.
No. Well, Abby, yes, but I mean Ellie walking away from that end scene, walking away to go find the girl's... What's her name?
Dina,
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I wanted to say Rita.
Nope.
Not her. But yeah, so to answer that question, yes, I definitely feel like the message of this game is forgiveness as well. So
yeah, I feel like it's a half-half. You know what I mean? So
Abby could have been swapped around and wouldn't have made a difference.
And then we've been like, this Joel person is terrible.
Yeah.
I hate Joel.
I agree with that 100%. Like, the only reason that we feel anything about Joel dying is because we played as him for the entirety of the first game, minus Winter.
Yeah.
But
then you gained a relationship with that person.
Exactly. I mean, for me, and I was going to talk about this later. I don't know if this is a question you have or not, but for me, like, the thing I hate most about this game, about The Last of Us Part 2, is the fact that they don't ever admit that what Joel did was acceptable. Like Joel saving Ellie. He definitely shouldn't have killed the whole Fireflies, but
I'm glad that he didn't step back on it, though.
Right, that too. But the act of him choosing to save Ellie, and I know, all you fucking feminists out there are like, it's not her decision to, it's not his decision to make. Well, you know what? I'm not a father, right? I don't know, but I do have 6 other siblings. Right. No, I'm not a father. But I do have 6 other siblings, and I'm the oldest. And, being raised in a way that I had to look after them very, very intently and being responsible for them. Like, it's not that my parents were negligent, but that was just my responsibility. And so, when it comes to horror movies, like, I have this boundary where we don't watch horror. I can't watch a horror movie that involves kids dying. Like, I just can't watch that. Like, we watched one that was called Mama, where literally at the beginning of the movie, the dad, like, tries to mercy kill his 2 daughters. and like the way that he's talking to them, just it makes me want to cry. Like I can't handle that. That's not okay because I picture my siblings in that. So in this scenario with Joel, I picture my little brother Judah in Ellie's place, or whatever, and it's like I'm just like I would do anything to save that. Like I don't give a crap, and it's that moral thing of like save one for many, or let one die to save 100 or whatever, and it's like no, I'll save the one, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that they never admitted to that, and that Ellie never said like thank you for saving me. I was gonna die, But then again, Ellie, that's Ellie's whole point. Is like, she's like, my life would have meant something if I had died, But I wish Joel would have said, your life does mean something to me, Like Joel would. It's not his character, but I also feel like in the second game he wasn't as ruthless as he was in the first game. So I feel like he might have been able to say this, but all I wanted was for Joel to say, like, to back on that previous scene where he goes in the first game where he's like, you're right. You're not my daughter, and I sure as hell ain't your dad. To come back in the second game and go, I love you as a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Like, mine was taken from me, and you were brought into my life, kind of a thing. But, that's just me. That's what I wanted.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
It would be
It would be
sweet.
a happy ending, but that's not what Naughty Dog wanted. So the Matt Pat from the Game Theory, he did a YouTube video on The Last of Us Part 2 and how what Joel did was right, because literally, if you know anything about science, and I would recommend going and watching that because I'm not a scientist. I don't know. I mean, he's not either, but he knows enough scientists and is a nerd about everything that you could trust him. But he said that there is not a vaccine, like vaccinations doesn't work for fungal infections, and that's what the Last of Us disease is. It's a fungal infection. It's by fungi, like the mushroom kind of thing, and vaccines don't work against that. Because vaccines, the way that it works is by bacterial, infections.
Mm-hmm.
Fungal's not that. It doesn't use bacteria. It uses spores and stuff. So even if they did kill Ellie, they would actually be doing the worst possible thing, because in order to find a cure for a fungal infection, you would need the host to be alive and to figure out a way to take, to be able to just find other ways. Like, a vaccine's not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Vaccine is not how you solve this problem,
Yeah.
So it's just cool. I would definitely recommend going and watching.
But then
that
they
episode.
keep saying it was a cure in the second game, and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Is that
it
what you
was not
said?
a
A
cure.
cure and a vaccine are two different things.
Yeah, right.
A vaccine is a preventative.
Mm-hmm.
A cure is something that can help somebody if they already have it. I'm like,
Right.
people keep switching it to a cure in the second game. I'm like, no, that's
No,
not
no.
what you said.
The Bible's pretty clear about that.
Knew that was coming.
The Bible's pretty clear about that.
All right, trivia game, boys.
All right, Brandon.
I'm hyped.
I'm excited to see what you got.
Andrew
Yes.
versus Ethan.
I'm going.
Match of the century. All right. So, number one, the game made the record for the fastest selling PS4 game to date, making it the biggest PlayStation launch ever. Number two, Abby's voice actor, Laura Bailey, also voiced two other characters in Naughty Dog games. Did y'all get any of that?
Yes.
Over 350,000 pre-orders of the game were canceled preceding the major plot leaks.
Oh, so this is for
Can't
the
talk.
second game.
Yes.
So this is
all
Two
for the
Truth and a
second
Lie.
game. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only three of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
I'm locking in on the first one.
That's the false one?
Mhm.
I think that's the false one?
Yep.
These are only for the second game,
Yep.
by the way.
The first one you said is the false
Third one.
Third one.
Yep.
And you're right.
Yes, it is the fastest selling. It sold 4 million copies in its first week. Fastest
Wow.
selling PS4 game to date, bro.
It just barely
Damn.
beat Spider-Man by what I
So
heard.
everybody that canceled just bought it again, basically.
I mean, I said I wasn't
Pretty
going to
much.
buy it. And then as I started watching
like,
more,
"Yeah,
I was like,
right."
you know what? I got to buy this now.
All right.
Ugh.
All right. So, Nathan Drake of the Uncharted series can be seen briefly during a cutscene at a bar near the beginning of the game. The Uncharted series was also developed by Naughty Dog. We already know that.
You're good.
Number two, during the later half of Ellie's story, she gets trapped by a hanging leg snare, much like Joel did in the first game at Bill's place. I mean, you already know that's true. 3. Despite being the main character in the first game, the player only gets to play as Joel during the prologue. Good lord. Prologue.
First one.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah, I didn't think into that one.
Not
I'll go
good.
for it.
We know
So
too
you're
much
still
about
winning.
we know too much about the first game.
Dude, that's the problem.
All right, yeah, you're still winning by 1 point.
Not for long.
Abby's character was originally supposed to be transgender, but they revoked that decision after making a smaller character in the name by Lev a transgender. The composer of both games can be seen playing a banjo in the prologue of the game just after you leave Ellie's place.
Yeah, buddy.
Shouldn't have told you that now. Dang it.
Number 3, the character Dr. Uckman features the likeness of Dr. Neil Druckmann.
Number 1.
Number 3.
Dr. Uckman. Gotcha.
Number 3.
Okay, locked in.
Yep.
Ethan's right.
Yes.
You were 2 points ahead.
I know because I got that card. I got one of the trader cards and it was Dr. Uckman. He was a villain.
That's stupid. Dr. Uckman? Who the fuck is named Dr. Uckman? Who the fuck is Riley?
We don't know. We still don't know.
Nobody's going to understand
That's an
that.
inside joke. His name is spelled Uckmann.
Yeah.
Uckman.
Uckman. Dr. Uckman.
Neil Uckman.
Neil Uckman.
Director of Last of Us. Neil Uckman. Dr. Uckman. That's stupid. Whatever. Let's
All
continue.
right, so
Do I even have a chance to catch up?
yeah,
I'll give
Okay,
it.
good.
you
I'll
still
give it-
got like 3 more.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
So, Dina wears a Hamsa charm bracelet, which are common in the Middle East and are used for religious purposes. Number 2, director Neil Druckmann never wanted to make the sequel to the 2013's Last of Us, but Sony paid him more than double his salary to make the game.
Dang.
Number 3, the voice of Ellie, Ashley Johnson, was 36 at the time, almost twice the age of Ellie in the game. You know, Ellie was 19.
She's 36.
Maybe.
That seems a little old. I don't feel like Ashley Johnson's 36.
I don't
years
either.
old. That seems really old.
I'm
but
not
it could
pulling
be.
That, I'm not pulling that one where she's actually 47. No, I'm not doing that.
I never do that.
Never. Never done it once.
I was-
Okay.
I was really tempted to put in here just because the director fell out of his chair with excitement.
When Joel died. Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
So what was the
sorry.
first one again?
Dina wears a Hamsa charm bracelet.
That's true.
Blech.
Yeah, I know that's true just because she talked about being Jewish in the game. And that, that's definitely a religious thing in the Middle East, so.
Yeah.
Plus her nose.
Yeah.
Her big A nose.
I think
Good
was the
old
not
second
with
one.
them.
nose.
Neil Druckmann never wanted to make the game, but he got paid a hell of a lot more. It says double his salary. But
I think that's the false one.
More so than the Ashley Johnson being
I feel like
a
36.
grandma.
Neil Druckmann wouldn't have done it.
36
I-
is not a grandma.
I'm telling you right now, I don't think Neil Druckmann would have done it.
For money.
He wouldn't have done it for money.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have done that.
Yeah.
I agree with him on his political beliefs or not, but he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't do something out of financial, it'd be like, I don't want to do
Other
this.
people
Oh, you're
have
paying
done
me
it.
you're paying me double my salary.
I'll do it.
Oh, okay, I'll do
Yeah.
it. I think
Happened more than once.
it has.
Yeah.
I think it's the second one.
I was going to say the second one right after you said it because I'll mention it after this, but I'm locking my answer in at the second one too.
Okay.
All right,
Both
both
second.
right.
Yep.
Nice.
He said in an interview that before the first game was even done, he met Ashley Johnson at an Applebee's, and they talked about it.
Really?
Yep.
Talked about making a second one.
He told her what the story would be like and how Ellie would be treated this way and whatnot. And Ashley Johnson was like, yes.
Let's do it. Dude, that's
So,
lit.
Yeah. I was so hoping you would go for the third one. It's like, this is my chance to get ahead.
Hey, well, let's make it double points.
No, it's okay.
Are you good? Okay.
There's one more. This is it. This is the last one. So, should I make double points? I don't know.
It's up to you. What do you
Let's
want
do
to do? Okay.
Let's have a little bit of
Entertainment.
So you
Yeah.
have.
None. No. Ethan's ahead by 2.
All
That's
right.
what it is.
So we
I
can
don't know.
tie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So Number 1, writers of the game received backlash because they wrote a transgender boy into the story. Number 2,
They receive backlash on everything.
yep. Ellie knows how to swim in the game only due to Joel being exasperated about her and inability to swim in the first game. Remember when
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only part of the game I remember.
I hated that, having to go get those pallets and her glitch and not jump on the pallet when you have it right in front of you. You're like, Ellie,
I hated
jump
that.
on the
I
pallet.
hated the pallets, bro. The puzzles in Last of Us 2 were way better
Yes.
than the first one.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter what else you agree on. We both
Well, that's
can
because
agree
they
on
got
that.
Uncharted 4 puzzles in
I think
freaking Last of Us Part 2.
most of the PlayStation exclusive ones had that because
Yeah.
God of War is my favorite game, but I hated the puzzle in that game so much.
Puzzles were trash.
Yeah.
I
All
played
right,
it too. I was
before
like,
y'all
no.
forget all of them.
Yeah, sorry.
Number 3, an alternative plan of the plot was for Ellie and Tommy to be killed off by Abby and for Joel to go after her for revenge, which would make Joel the main character the second time.
I'm not going to lie, I would have loved that more.
That would have been dope. Losing himself even more.
Oh my gosh. Could you
You just
imagine?
really want this man to suffer.
Could you imagine? Joel would be freaking psycho, bro.
He would be psycho.
He'd kill everyone at Jackson.
I think I would actually want to play this game more if that were the
Oh
case,
my
because then I would
gosh.
want to play as Abby more. you know?
Right, right.
She'd be an interesting.
Oh,
villain,
well,
I
yeah. At
think.
that point, Joel is the villain. That is undeniable. But, oh my
I
gosh.
definitely push that narrative more. That
Yeah.
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 All right.
Oh my goodness.
You need me to reread those?
Dude, no,
I kind of feel like it's the third one.
What was the first one again?
Writers of the game received backlash because they wrote a transgender boy into the story. Well, I should also say that they were also like, they weren't transgender. That's why, because the non-transgender people were writing transgender characters.
roles.
Yes,
Oh.
which is stupid, but yes.
What was the second one?
Ellie only knows how to swim now because Joel taught her the second time.
I feel like it's the third one.
All or nothing. I'm going with the first one. Locked in.
All right, third.
Ethan's right.
Yep.
3 points
There you
ahead,
go.
bro.
It was all or nothing, or double or nothing, or whatever.
So I
So
guess
he's
that's
like
4.
6 points. That's funny.
Dang.
Good
All
job.
right.
Dude.
You know, Ethan's clearly more of a diehard fan than I am.
Well,
There was a
Of
big
the
first
second
game.
game. Of the
Yeah,
second
the second
game.
game.
there was
Yeah.
definitely like a big controversy because like they wrote a transgender boy into the game.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
like, we don't like that. So what they did was they actually had an actual transgender boy do the mocap and the voice for that character.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That was actually a thing.
I'm not reading the trivia now.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
No,
that's
you're
actually
right.
yeah, that's true.
Yep, I remember that. I remember that during the E3 conference or whatever that they did, where everybody came out and sat in the chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was so scared to talk. Now I know why.
Yeah, I mean, what can you talk about the story?
I know nothing.
The whole story is about getting revenge for Joel's death.
Right.
You know, so like you can't
You
say
can't
like
say anything. And Abby wasn't even announced, so you couldn't even bring her out. I mean, she's the main character of half the game, so
Mhm.
couldn't even bring her out.
Such a hard game to talk about without spoiling.
Yeah.
It's like the Comic-Con panel for Infinity War. It's like,
Mhm.
you have no idea, bro.
I am Iron Man. That's all I can say. Which sneak peek announcement for season 2 of the podcast. But we're doing Marvel movies, so
Hey.
tune in.
I'm excited for that.
Is that all your trivia and everything?
That's it.
Sweet. Thanks, man. That was
That was
dope.
lit.
You're
Those
welcome.
questions were deep. I was taken aback by those. That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Those were good questions. Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie.
I wish I could come up with that deep a question. All right, there's a tick on my paper. Okay.
Did you kill it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks for listening and watching, everybody. Be sure to follow my Instagram at Andrew_Luttrell.
Oh, do we have we giving
Littrell.
a final score?
We will in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, be sure to follow my Instagram. Follow the podcast Instagram at Talk This Way Podcast on Instagram, and be sure to snag that Patreon for other cool podcast merch and prizes and other things.
Get that
And when season 2 comes along, revamping the whole thing. It's gonna be amazing. So stay tuned for that. Yep. So before we rate this game, I know that Ethan and I would rate the first game 10 out of 10
Mm-hmm.
as a whole. Just I know
That's
that
how
that's
it
true.
works.
However, we need to remove our very biased opinions of the first game to be able to rate the second game. So we're going to rate this game, trying not to compare it to the first game. And then we're going to rate it based on our views of the first one. So
Okay.
Ethan, you go
Unbiased, then
first.
biased.
Yep, you go first with both. Unbiased opinion of the second game.
I'm gonna give it a 9, bro.
9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This game, it made me think. Like, for a game, I've never had to. I wouldn't say remove my own ego, but like remove my bias.
Yeah.
I've never really had to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because games are so about holding your hand, being like, okay, we can't do this, you know, because that would be. We want it to be an easy experience that a lot of people will love.
Yeah.
No matter what you say about Neil Druckmann and the way that he took the story, you have to give him credit for taking such a risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, did it pay off or not? That's up to the opinion of the person who plays it. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people have different opinions, but I will admit, I really think it was very thought-provoking. I was like, man, I really got to take it back and just think about her shoes and like all of this, and I'm like, it was good. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 9 out of 10.
Unbiased.
9 out of 10 for me.
For the unbiased.
For the unbiased.
What about biased?
If I was comparing it, let's say if I was just comparing it to the first game,
That's exactly what it is.
I give it a 7.
A 7.
I give it a 7.
Good. That's good.
Because if I wanted the second game to be like the first game, then I would give it a 7.
Yeah.
Because these games are completely different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they don't have the same themes.
Right.
They have the same characters, sort of, except for Joel. I mean, you get a little bit of, you get Joel between like in
I know
some
what you mean.
flashbacks.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, it was definitely fun though. So
Okay.
yeah.
Unbiased. I would give this game a 10 out of 10 as well. Unbiased.
Wait,
The reason is because the gameplay was 10 out of 10 better than the first game by far. Like,
don't get me wrong. Gameplay of The Last of Us is great. The first game is awesome.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why this is a 10 out of 10 as well, because the only way to get that rating is to be better than the best, which was the first game in my opinion. Like, you know, it just, the way that the combat is and like the way that they mastered, like they basically took what was wrong with the gameplay of the first game and fixed it in the second game. Introducing dogs, even though like some of those pissed me off so bad.
I hated those dogs, bro.
But it made it more fun. It made it more challenging. Like, it was great adding the freaking what are those other creatures called? The
Shamblers?
Shamblers. That was awesome. Like,
I will tell
annoying as
you-
heck, but they were amazing.
I will tell you right now, I played the game, New Game Plus,
Mm-hmm.
second time on Survivor. It was one of the toughest experiences, and Andrew
yeah.
can agree with me on this
Oh,
because
yeah.
he was in the room for a lot of it.
Yes.
I was annoyed. Like, there were parts where I was just, I wasn't shouting at the game, but I was being petty.
Yes.
I was like, wow, right, you're great. You can just see me from 8 miles away,
Right.
and I'd just be super, like, petty about it. But it's because it was so difficult.
Yeah.
Like, those dogs, and then you're always on your, I hate, it's so cliche to say this, and it's so dumb, but it's like you are on your toes when you're in those combat encounters. Because,
Yeah.
like, I am so used to stealth games, and I can usually get really good at them. Even halfway through, playing through my second playthrough,
Yeah.
I was still like, man, I really gotta go, and all of these traversal things that they do is so good.
I know you can
Like,
crawl, you can jump.
crawl, jump, squeeze through cracks of different things. I'm like, this is
Again,
awesome.
all the things that would have made that first game so good. Now, it's different, obviously, because Joel's older and bigger and can't fit through those things and do that kind of acrobat stuff, but he can bend bricks, apparently.
Yes, he can use the force
He
to
can curve
just,
a brick.
he can just
throw it and it goes
boom. It's great.
oh man, but yeah, so back to my thing, 10 out of 10, mainly because of the gameplay. And again, unbiased opinion, this was a good story. A really good story. Like, you, again, my opinions, this is me taking my opinions out of it. You could play this game over and over and over again and learn something new every time. Can't really do that. Like, there's a cap with the first game. And that's fine, because that allows you to be like me and Ethan and nerd out and memorize it and be able to, at any given time, quote a scene, which we do all the time, where he's
To
like,
be honest,
No, it's like
I don't even gotta know why.
At least, like, or Joel's like, the best part about my job, and me and Ethan, like, well, one of us will say that, and then one of us will go, is that I ain't even gotta know why.
You know, it's
honestly,
like
I give two shits about what you're up to.
That is such a meme
Oh my gosh.
conversation.
We quote that every day. It feels like.
Mhm.
So
They were quoting it around me, and I had no idea what they were talking about until I
Exactly.
played
Then
it.
you
Like,
played the game and you're like, oh.
I still don't get it.
I still don't get why you guys say this every day.
exactly. So that's my point exactly. It's just with Last of Us Part 2, because of the way that they molded that story, there's something new. And then again, me being a guitar fanatic, you can play so many songs on your controller on the guitar in the game, and it's dumb and it's stupid, and that should not be as exciting, but I love that. And I'm like, if that was in the first game, I would cry.
Because if you had Joel playing the guitar in the first
Joel,
game,
I mean, Ethan can tell you when he was watching me play it, I was sitting there for like 20 minutes just playing songs on the guitar. I was playing Hurt by Johnny Cash. I was playing Ed Sheeran songs. Like, I was playing everything, bro.
dude.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
When they first started playing, I was sitting next to Ethan, just watching him play. He was already light years ahead, and I look
Yeah.
back, and he's still playing like Ed
Guitar,
Sheeran.
yeah, right.
I just hear, Brandon, watch this. I'm like, what? I hurt myself. I was like,
Exactly.
all right, cool, buddy. I got to watch this.
Exactly. Oh, it was great.
Anyway.
Bringing in my bias, I would say this game is a 7 out of 10. And that's just because of my love for Joel and his character and his, just my opinions on the way that they did things. And people can argue about like the politics in this and like the, Naughty Dog having the feminist agenda or whatever. I don't feel like this game shows any of that. Not a moment in Last of Us Part 2 did I feel like they were shoving something down my throat. Even with Lev, like, that was not shoved down my throat. That was just there, and I was able to enjoy it for what it was, And it's just like, okay. But
I feel like here's the thing. When they sacrifice story fluidity
yeah,
and narrative
mm-hmm.
to then push something just
Right.
because they want to push that,
Right.
that's when it's bad.
that's when it gets bad, right? And
You
I
know
would
what I
say
mean?
I would say Last of Us Part 2 did a good job at not doing that. Now I will say every single podcast that I've listened to, they talk about the politics, and it drives me nuts. And I'm just like, don't bring that in. Why? Stop.
Mhm.
Like, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, so unbiased 10 out of 10, biased 7 out of 10. So
It's good.
And I'm not going to rate it because I didn't play either of these games all the way through.
yeah, well, thanks for being our friend and hanging out with us.
Thank you.
And
will
making
say-
those awesome freaking questions. And
Those were
trivia.
good.
You're welcome. I've never seen you cry up until you played this game. Like, you're walking through Joel's house, and you're just like, bro.
Mhm.
Dude, I was.
That was emotional.
when I was playing, because that was not part of the leaks.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't part
Nope.
of it. So when they went to Joel's house and all of that,
and you see the picture of him and Sarah from the first game.
I think the one thing that got me,
yeah.
is when she was going through his clothes, and she just was like,
Smelled
I mean,
his jacket.
it's something that we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we relate.
You lose a
smells
loved
to
one.
people.
Yeah, you lose
Like,
a loved one. You go and try and feel something that they wore all the time to get to try and feel them again. And same
Mhm.
thing with smells. Like
Yeah.
you smell something, you're like, that was them.
Mhm.
And it makes you feel better. It makes you.
I wonder
feel
what
more at
Joel
peace.
smelled like. He probably smelled terrible.
That's
Probably
such a
sweat,
weird
guilt, and
question.
shame.
Yeah, you know, yeah,
Just kidding.
Yeah, I
I wonder
mean,
what he smells like.
there's always with everybody, there's always like a signature kind of spell. Now, if it's good or bad,
Yeah.
it depends.
I would say. I mean, you can take this for what it is, but I would say Joel probably just smells like your dad. Not your dad specifically, but as a broad statement, your dad.
Mm-hmm. For me, he probably smelled
As
like
a father
wood,
figure.
like pine and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because he was a woodworker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was probably a big part of it.
Oh yeah. I
Like-
mean, he was building guitars.
I know.
Just
Dude.
freaking awesome, dude.
That is so cool.
I want that Last of Us Part 2 guitar that's $3,000. I want that Taylor so bad, bro. But
So
it's either
expensive.
that or living life. So I gotta
Mom
live life.
patrons. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well,
Right, right, that's
patrons
what I'm
get
saying.
like
No.
20 patrons.
That's not how that's gonna work.
But yeah.
But anyway, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you thought about this review. This was really long. I apologize, but
Hey.
we love this game, and I have a hard time thinking that I can short this down any shorter. So
Yeah. Low-key.
It was like the only time I ever had an idea for the podcast ever. So
Yeah,
I
right.
had to add that
it
in.
was awesome.
Good.
But hopefully, again, let us know what you think. If you liked this video game review, make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts so that I know that you guys want more of it. So
Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, share with friends, all that good stuff. Yeah, we're back on the movie review side of things, or the movie podcast side of things. We're doing Star Trek Beyond next week, so be sure to tune into that. So,
It's gonna be lit.
all right,
Heck yeah.
Haven't seen it.
all right. See you guys.
Endure and survive.
See ya.